Have you ever looked in the mirror, not with judgment, not to fix your lipstick or adjust your collar, but really looked? Maybe early in the morning when the house is still quiet. Maybe the light coming through the blinds is soft and forgiving. Maybe you're still in your robe holding a cup of coffee. You glance at your reflection and for a split second you pause. Something feels different. You can't quite put your finger on it. Your face is still yours, but your jawline. It's not where it used to be. There's a softness that wasn't there before. A gentle shift under your chin, not drastic, not alarming, but undeniable. And then comes the feeling, not sadness exactly, not fear, but a quiet realization. You've changed, and you're still changing. That's when the questions start to rise. How much of this is just aging? How much of it is reversible? Do I need to start doing something different with my skincare, my lifestyle, or maybe my hair? See, most people don't realize this. The way your hair frames your face has a direct impact on how your features are perceived. It's not just about trends or keeping up with what's fashionable. It's about harmony, balance, direction. Volume. The right haircut can make you feel like yourself again, lifted, alive, radiant. But the wrong one, it can quietly emphasize every place you feel uncertain about. Especially past 50, when gravity and time start whispering their stories on your face. And here's the secret, it's not about chasing youth, it's about choosing presence. Because this season of life isn't about erasing the years, it's about honoring them, enhancing what's already there, letting your beauty shift gently into its new form. So today, we're going to talk about hair. Not as vanity, but as expression, as support, as frame. We'll look at the 3 most common hairstyles that subtly yet powerfully age women over 50. And more importantly, we'll talk about how to shift them. How to take a familiar cut and turn it into something that lifts your spirit every time you catch your reflection. This isn't a list of what not to wear. This is an invitation to re-see yourself with softness, intention, and a fresh perspective. Let's begin. Let's start with the classic blunt bob. You've seen it everywhere. Sleek, straight, chic. It ends right at the jawline. Timeless, right? But here's the thing most people never notice until it's too late. Let's talk about that first style, the classic blunt bob. At first glance, it seems harmless. Stylish even, sleek lines, polished edges, ends that stop cleanly right at the jaw. You see it in magazines, on celebrities, on women who look confident and put together. But here's the truth nobody tells you. That perfectly sharp line at the jaw doesn't always serve your face, especially as it begins to soften with time. The eye naturally follows lines. It travels to where the hair ends. And when the hair ends exactly at your jawline, guess where everyone's attention goes? Right there. To the very place you've started feeling unsure about. To the spot where your skin may be relaxing, where the once clear angles have now softened into curves. And suddenly that chic bob isn't lifting you, it's boxing you in. It can make the neck appear shorter, the face more square, and the jawline more prominent than it really is. And the thing is, people won't always notice why they feel that way when they look at you. But you will. Deep down, you'll sense that something feels off. Like your haircut is somehow working against you, pulling the eye to the place you'd rather redirect it from. But don't worry, this isn't about giving up the bob, it's about transforming it. Because a bob, when done thoughtfully, can be one of the most graceful, elegant shapes you can wear after 50. You just need to adjust the details. Start by shifting the length. Instead of having it stop sharply at the jaw, let it fall just below the chin. 1 inch, sometimes even half an inch, can make all the difference. That small change leads the eye downward, creating a more fluid connection between your face and your neck. The transition feels softer, less abrupt. Then layer. A blunt cut builds weight right where you don't want it, along the lower edge of your face. That density draws attention and flattens the natural curve. But when you introduce soft layers, especially in the front, you change the movement. The eye now dances. It follows the flow of hair inward and upward, toward your eyes, toward your cheekbones, toward the center of your expression. Think of movement as the magic in any cut. It brings your face to life. It gives light a chance to play across your features. It creates contrast and softness where once there was a hard, straight line. Now here's the secret ingredient that transforms a good cut into a flattering one, the side-swept bang. Side bangs are like a gentle whisper across the forehead. They break up the face vertically and diagonally, which creates lift. They soften a square or rounded jaw by shifting the focus up. They frame the eyes, They add dimension, and you don't need a thick bang to do that. Just a soft sweep ending near the cheekbone is enough to shift perception entirely. That's where the eye goes, to the smile, the sparkle in your eyes, the soul of your expression. Want to go even further? Ask your stylist for a graduated front. That simply means the hair gets slightly longer toward the front instead of ending all at one length. That subtle graduation creates a feeling of elegance and forward motion. It elongates the neck. It slims the face. It removes the boxy effect and replaces it with grace. And for those with fine hair, you may wonder, won't layers make it look even thinner? Not if they're placed thoughtfully. Short, choppy layers can make hair look sparse, but long, soft, blended layers add movement and volume where you need it most, around the crown, the sides, the places that help lift your whole face. And if your hair is thick, then layers are your best friend. They remove bulk, create airiness, and prevent the dreaded triangle effect that pulls everything downward. Because that's what we're doing here. We're not just cutting hair. We're designing direction. We're shaping perception. We're supporting the beauty you already have by choosing a frame that uplifts it. Think of it like framing a beautiful photograph. The photo doesn't change, but the right frame makes it glow. It draws your attention to the best parts. It makes you pause, admire, and appreciate. That's what a refined bob with layers, a side bang, and graceful graduation can do. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't try to make you look younger. It simply lifts what's already there and gives it room to shine. Because beauty after 50 isn't about reversing time. It's about standing where you are and choosing presence, choosing softness, choosing lines that move upward, inward, forward, not downward and away. And the hair that surrounds your face, it can either drag you down or lift you toward who you truly are becoming. Let's keep going. Let's talk about the second style that often surprises women with how aging it can be, even though it seems daring and fresh. The pixie. Let's talk about the pixie cut. It's bold, it's fearless, it's liberating. For many women, especially after 50, the pixie feels like a declaration. I'm done hiding. I want ease. I want lightness. I want something new, and that feeling. It's powerful. It deserves to be celebrated. But here's the thing no one really explains until it's too late. Not all pixies are created equal. Especially when you're navigating the natural changes of a mature face, when your jawline has softened, when your skin gently gathers in places it never used to. Because the wrong kind of pixie can unintentionally do the opposite of what you hoped for. Let me explain. When a pixie cut is trimmed too tight, when the sides are buzzed close to the scalp, the nape shaved, the ears fully exposed, it removes all softness. All framing. It leaves the lower third of your face fully out in the open with nothing to cradle it, nothing to balance it. And that's where the issue begins. A tight, sharp pixie draws vertical lines along the face. It elongates, but not in a graceful way. It can flatten the cheeks. It can sharpen the jawline or emphasize its looseness depending on the angle. It creates a contrast that is harsh, not harmonious. From the front, it can make the face appear square. From the side, it leaves your profile stark and unprotected. From the back, it can shorten the look of your neck and pull the visual weight downward. It's not flattering, it's exposing. But it doesn't have to be this way. The pixie isn't the problem. The execution is. Because when a pixie is shaped with intention, with softness, movement, and balance, it becomes one of the most elegant, uplifting styles a woman over 50 can wear. Here's how. Start with the sides. Instead of cutting too close around the ears, leave just a bit of length. Half an inch, 1 inch, enough to curve gently in front of the ear. That soft line changes everything. It follows the cheekbone instead of cutting across it. It draws the eye up instead of down. That subtle detail adds warmth, femininity, and sculpting, all without adding bulk. Now let's talk about the nape, the back of the neck. Too many pixies are cut harsh and square at the back. But a more flattering approach is a tapered or graduated nape. That means the hair at the base gently increases in length as it moves upward, following the natural shape of your neck. It creates a curved, flowing silhouette, one that supports your jawline instead of slicing through it. From the profile, this change softens the transition from neck to chin. It cups the base of the face in a way that lifts the entire look. And now the crown. This is where the real magic happens. A great pixie almost always includes volume at the top. A bit of height, a gentle lift, some movement around the crown. Why? Because it pulls the eye upward. It brings the visual weight of the haircut into balance. It creates the illusion of a longer, more lifted face. And when the lower part of the face has fullness, which is common after 50, you want something above to counter it. Crown volume keeps the face looking open, youthful, and light. Now let's add the final essential piece, bangs, but not just any bangs. Short, straight-across bangs can be severe, especially on a mature face. They cut the forehead horizontally, often making the face look shorter and drawing attention to lines or drooping brows. But side-swept bangs, they're transformative. They introduce diagonal flow across the face. They bring softness to the forehead. They guide the eye toward your eyes and away from your mouth or jawline, and they can even balance asymmetries or widen a narrow upper face. Plus, they add movement, and as we've said before, movement is everything. You don't need them thick. Even a light, feathered fringe that brushes across the temples can change your entire expression. So now, picture it. A pixie with soft side framing, a gently tapered nape, a crown with subtle lift, a side-swept bang that highlights your eyes. It's still a pixie, but it's a pixie designed with your face in mind, not a trend, not a celebrity photo, but you. The real you, and that's what we're aiming for, not reinvention, but refinement. Because so many women over 50 cut their hair short thinking it will automatically look fresher or easier. But ease doesn't come from less hair, it comes from better design. You can absolutely have short hair and still look radiant, elegant, and confident. You just need to make space for softness, for shape, for intention. Because your haircut shouldn't expose what you're self-conscious about. It should support you, frame you, remind you of who you are. Bold, yes, but also kind, honest, whole. That's the power of the right pixie. It's not about daring. It's about clarity. It says, this is me now, and I love what I see. Now let's move on to a style that many women have held onto for years, maybe even decades. Long, straight, one-length hair. Let's talk about the hairstyle that so many women hold on to, not out of habit, but out of love. Long, straight, one-length hair. It's familiar. It feels safe. For many of us, it's the one thing that stayed the same while everything else shifted: careers, families, relationships, health, hormones, identity. Through it all, the long hair remained. And somewhere in that length was comfort, was self. But here's something worth asking, gently, kindly, without judgment. Does your long hair still lift you, or is it just following you around? See, long hair can be stunning, feminine, elegant. It carries movement, softness, romance. But when it's too heavy, when it's cut all at one length, and especially when it's worn straight and flat, it can begin to quietly work against you. Here's how: as we age, the lower third of the face softens. The jawline isn't as defined. The neck may lose some of its tautness. And when your hair is long and thick without any layers or texture, it adds weight. And where does that weight sit? Right around your jaw, your shoulders, your neck. And what happens then? The eye goes there. You might think you're hiding your jaw with hair, but you're actually spotlighting it. The volume sits at the bottom, and so does all the visual attention. It makes your face appear heavier. It shortens your neck. It creates a curtain, not one that conceals, but one that traps the light. Now add in a center part, flat crown, long lengths, no texture, and you've created a vertical divide that elongates the middle of the face but does nothing to lift or open it. Suddenly, your features feel pulled down, not up. And the light that once danced across your eyes and cheekbones, it's now buried beneath that heavy frame. But here's the good news: you don't have to cut it all off. You don't have to become someone else. You can absolutely keep your length and make it work for you, not against you. It's not about letting go of long hair. It's about reclaiming the way it supports your face. Here's how. Start with face framing layers. Not choppy, not dramatic, just soft, tapered layers that begin near the cheekbones and gently cascade downward. These layers open the face. They invite movement. They allow light back in. And they create lift around the center of your expression. Next, let's talk about texture. Flat, straight hair can be harsh, especially around softening features. But even a slight bend, a gentle wave, or a tousled mid-length can create contrast. And contrast builds shape. Movement in your hair, energy in your face, that's the trick. When your hair feels alive, so do you. Now bangs, don't panic, I'm not talking about full, thick bangs unless you love them. I'm talking about a curtain fringe or a side-swept bang, something light, soft, and effortless. It breaks up the length. It adds dimension. It draws the eye to your brows, your eyes, your smile. and it softens the forehead while balancing the jawline. If your forehead feels too long, if your face feels slightly downward tilting, a soft fringe can recenter everything. And here's something most women don't realize: the ends of your hair matter just as much as the top. When your hair is long and heavy at the bottom, it can create a blocky, blunt shape. But when the ends are tapered, when some of the weight is gently removed, the entire silhouette becomes lighter, airier, more flowing. It doesn't feel like your hair is dragging your face down anymore. It feels like your hair is lifting with you. Want a simple trick to try right now? Look in the mirror. Pull your hair back slightly from your face. Not tight, just enough to expose your cheekbones. Feel how your whole face opens up, how your posture changes. That's the power of lifting visual weight away from the jawline. That's what we're trying to create: a sense of openness, of upward flow, of softness and clarity. So yes, you can absolutely wear your hair long, but wear it with intention. Ask yourself, where does the weight sit? Where do I want the eye to go? What do I want my reflection to feel like? Because hair isn't just hair, it's a message, a frame, a reflection of how you see yourself and how you want to move through the world. And here's the most beautiful part. When women start making these changes, layering the front, lightening the ends, shifting the part, adding movement, something subtle yet powerful begins to happen. They start to smile at their reflection again, not because they look younger, but because they look more like themselves, more awake, more present, more connected to who they are now. And that's what it's all about. Because at this stage in life, you don't need a haircut that tries to fix you. You need one that reminds you of your beauty. You need a cut that doesn't compete with your features, but supports them. That doesn't pull attention to places you've grown self-conscious about, but elevates the parts of you that still shine just as brightly as ever. So whether it's a bob, a pixie, or long flowing hair, the answer isn't in the trend. It's in the intention. In the shape, the flow, the movement, and the balance. It's in understanding this simple rule: where the volume sits is where the eye will go. If the weight is at the jaw, attention goes there. If the shape lifts toward the cheekbones, the crown, the eyes, attention follows that light. And you deserve that light. You deserve a haircut that honors you, one that grows with you, one that says, "This is where I am, and I love who I've become." Because aging isn't a loss of beauty, it's the unfolding of it. And sometimes all it takes is a new frame around the same radiant soul. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message resonated with you, share it with a friend, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. We're building something here, a space for women over 50 who are ready to reclaim their reflection, not to go back, but to move forward gracefully, powerfully, beautifully. Because the mirror doesn't define you, you do. And I hope every time you catch your reflection, you smile back at her.